see the TV behind me.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of Panhandle Sports Weekly. I'm Scott McKinney. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Of course, along our many affiliates across the Florida Panhandle and across the southeastern United States. Glad to have you. It's a beautiful time here on the beaches of South Walton. The October weather is absolutely perfect. And if you're watching from somewhere other than the Emerald Coast, we encourage you to make your plans to come join us this fall for what is going to be a spectacular fall season here on the beach. Well, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking a lot of college football, previewing the games coming up this weekend, and we've got a special guest as we'll talk a little lacrosse. That's right, lacrosse is really taking over the Panhandle of Florida with our youth, and we're going to be talking to one of our good friends about 30A Lacrosse, which is now growing by leaps and bounds. So we're going to look forward to talking about that in just a little bit. You know, it's a great time of the year, and I hope that on Friday nights you're getting out and supporting your local high school football teams. Now, maybe you don't have a son that's playing football or a daughter or a son involved in the band or cheerleading or other activities, but it's a great way for you to support your local community by going out supporting high school football in your area on Friday nights. If you see a community that's thriving and doing well in every possible way, you're going to see a community that's really behind its high school athletic programs, especially high school football on Friday nights. And just looking at the calendar, now that we're in October, we've only got just about 4, maybe 5 weeks left of high school football, and we'll have to put it in the books for another year. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Don't let this amazing fall weather pass you by, because it is the perfect time to get out and watch some great high school football on Friday nights. Well, we got a lot to get to tonight. Yes, I do remember picking Ole Miss to beat Florida last week, and we won't discuss that. Something happened along the way. I'm not exactly sure. We'll call it in our world technical difficulties for the Ole Miss Rebels, but hats off to the Florida Gators for that big win. But we're going to move forward and talk about the big games this week. So sit back, relax. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a great time to talk football, lacrosse, and more. You're watching Panhandle Sports Weekly on 30A TV with me, Scott McKinney, and we're coming right back.
Time to roll out the barrel and discover unique suds and ales. The Village of Baytown Wharf at Sandusky presents the 8th Annual Baytown Wharf Beer Fest on October 16th and 17th, 2015. American specialty beers from around the nation will be available for participants to sample and savor. The main event on Saturday, October 17th will feature more than 200 domestic and international craft beers available for sampling. Get your tickets now at BaytownWharfBeerFestival.com.
Everyone loves a bright and cheerful smile. Not everyone can find the dental care they need and can afford. Now there's a place nearby where anyone can receive professional quality dental care at an affordable cost. The Lecom Dental Offices in Defuniak Springs is now accepting patients. You will receive care in comfortable state-of-the-art treatment rooms, care provided by supervised and experienced Lecom dental students. To schedule your appointment, please call the Lecom Dental Office 850-951-0200. We will be happy to see you smiling again.
I think we do an exam and x-rays for $15, which is a complete examination and a complete set of x-rays. Yeah, okay. Then we'll present you with various treatment plans, and you as a patient decide of those options which one suits me the best, financially, motivationally, etc.
A hot home in South Walton for $300,000? That's correct. Church Street Village is your opportunity to make South Walton County, Florida life a reality. It's coastal living without the coastal pricing. Located just north of the beaches of 30A, convenient schools in shopping, built exclusively by the reputable Huff Homes Company. Church Street Village provides unmatched luxury at incredible prices. Phase 2 has just been released, starting in the mid-200s. Plans begin from 1,200 square feet, finished beautifully. These gorgeous homes are a must-see when finding your next home. To arrange a viewing, call Randy Rentala at 850-974-1460 or find Randy on Facebook at Rentala Realty or rentalarealty.com.
Everyone loves a bright and cheerful smile. Not everyone can find the dental care they need and can afford. Now there's a place nearby where anyone can receive professional quality dental care at an affordable cost. The LeCom Dental Offices in Defuniak Springs is now accepting patients. You will receive care in comfortable state-of-the-art treatment rooms, care provided by supervised and experienced LeCom dental students. To schedule your appointment, please call the LeCom Dental Office 850-951-0200. We will be happy to see you smiling again.
And welcome back to Panhandle Sports Weekly. I'm Scott McKinney. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Of course, watching on 30A.tv. And don't forget, you can also see us on 30alive.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @HeyScottyMac. That's @HeyScottyMac. And then, of course, the Twitter handle for our TV station and network here is @30ABuzz. So make sure you follow both of those and keep updated on everything happening in the world of sports in the Emerald Coast, and as well as everything happening with 30A TV. And one of the big things happening here this year, of course, is lacrosse. And lacrosse is something very new to many of us in the Panhandle, but we've got an organization that's really getting lacrosse up and going. They've been going now for a little while, but the popularity is really growing. And joining me now, Jamie Hansen, who's I guess the guy who got a lot of this started. Jamie, it's good to see you, and thank you for coming in tonight. Let's talk about 30A Lacrosse.
First of all, thanks for having me, Scott. 30A Lacrosse started up as an idea last spring. I was coaching Destin Rockets lacrosse down there in Destin, and there was a need for kids down in this area who wanted to play, but their parents didn't want to take them all the way to Destin or take them to some of the other clubs that are down by Pensacola. So the parent and I got together and we decided that we were going to do this, and he had been kind of making a movement in the area for a while. As a matter of fact, he's going to be the new coach for Seacoast Collegiate High School. They're going to have a lacrosse team. It's their first sport, and they're going to start this season. So him and I got 30A going, and we're growing right now. And there's a big event coming up this Friday that's going to feature Florida State lacrosse. The men's team, they're going to play Pensacola Riptide. Pensacola Riptide, they're going to get together at Choctaw High School, and that's going to be a big event. Before that event, they're going to have a kids clinic. So anyone that's ever wanted to try the sport and then go watch the sport played live at a very high level, get on out to Choctaw High School this Friday, 2 days from now.
Well, lacrosse is very popular along the eastern coast, up north and Midwest. I've just noticed the last few years it's really growing. I know our friends in Gulf Breeze,
Yes.
The Pensacola area have a big-time lacrosse program. You mentioned Destin. How did you get started in lacrosse? Did you play it growing up?
I didn't, actually. I grew up in Michigan, and we didn't have it available in Michigan. It just wasn't a sport that was around. When we moved out to Colorado, once my son got into about second grade, he started playing lacrosse, and a guy whose kid was also on the team, he decided he was going to start a men's team for people who had never played before. So he started a league, and it was called Mile High Lacrosse League. And it was just a bunch of dads who got together and played lacrosse. We learned the sport, and I ended up loving the sport. My kid has stuck with it ever since, and I watched what happened in Colorado was a lot like what's going on here. It was a couple small clubs, and then it just boomed, and suddenly there was 2 professional lacrosse teams in Denver. The same thing's kind of happening down here. A lot of people don't know it, but there's a professional lacrosse team down in South Florida. Florida launch. And another outdoor professional lacrosse team is just starting off in Atlanta right now.
Wow, and I've talked to more parents who are saying, I'm getting my kids involved in lacrosse. It is really growing. Now, your, of course, organization here on 30A, your website is 30alacrosse.com.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, what ages do you start? A little bit about the organization itself here for what you offer.
Okay. Well, the ages are anywhere from 6 to 18. We'll take 6, 7-year-olds and pair them up in a U9 organization. And it's club, like you would play club soccer or club baseball or any club sport. And you get these kids together, and we travel around up and down the Emerald Coast playing in jamborees. So we play in jamborees. We travel to Daphne, we travel to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. We travel down to Pensacola Gulf Breeze a lot. The organization itself right now is definitely in a growth phase. We're still affiliated with Destin Rockets. Destin Rockets has been going for about 5 years now. 30A is brand new, and it's really covering the kids in this area. So we have a lot of new beginners out there, and we're always looking for kids, especially the kid that just doesn't really fit in with football, or soccer maybe isn't his thing. Maybe he likes basketball. Well, what you're going to get with lacrosse is a combination of all those things. You're going to get a combination of basketball with the physical attributes of hockey, football, and athletes really thrive in lacrosse. Definitely thrive in lacrosse. It's a really fun sport. It's a fast-paced sport.
And Jamie, having watched it myself on television and seen it locally to some degree, parents who may not know anything about it, a lot of us as parents, we direct our kids into sports that we know something about. What would you say to the parents out there? I mean, or do they need special equipment, or can they come to you first and bring the kids out for a jamboree or bring the kids out for a clinic and then kind of get a feel? I know you don't need a lot of expensive equipment, but there are a couple of items you would need.
Right. You're going to need a helmet right off the bat. That's going to be your most expensive item, and then it's shoulder pads, but it's not shoulder pads like football. It's light shoulder pads. They really protect the chest and they protect the back. They're not. You're not going to have a full speed collision in lacrosse. What you're going to have is some light hitting, people shoving, some incidental contact during loose balls. You're going to see some decent hits from time to time, but it's not like football where people are getting train wrecked. You're going to need elbow pads, you're going to need stick, and you're going to need gloves, and of course mouth guard. And the real appeal to lacrosse is that you don't have, it's not a high-speed collision sport. It's a contact sport, and it's physical. There's going to be some hitting, there's stick checking, but a lot of that's not even allowed until a kid gets into the U13 division. So your U9, your U11, they're not hitting, they're not having that full contact, they're not allowed to do some of the same checks that the older high school kids are able to do. And as far as getting into lacrosse, I would say first of all, get your kid outside and into a sport. Go to our website at 30alacrosse.com and check out some of the dates on there. We're doing a lot of free stuff right now, all the way up until November, where we go out right here to Helen McCall Park, right on 98. We get out there for a couple hours, and no helmet required, no nothing. I get a stick in their hand. They learn some of the basics of the sport. They're passing, they're catching, they're shooting, playing a little defense, and we've got all ages out there now. If you go to even our Facebook site, you'll see a video that I just posted yesterday, just one of the simple drills we're doing, getting kids out there, passing, catching, shooting, which are really the basics of lacrosse. Pass, catch, shoot.
Right.
And then as they get older and more advanced, they learn some new things. They learn some different things. And then you get into the real physical aspects. But get them out there, give it a try. Get them out this Friday night over to Choctaw Stadium, and then let them see a live game played at an advanced level. For free, by the way.
And I love the fact you're doing these little gatherings at Helen McCall for kids that want to come out, and families, parents who, let's be honest, most of us who have kids didn't grow up playing lacrosse, so this is new. So it gives the parents and it gives the kids a chance to come out and just see, hey, we don't have to bring anything out here. We can see if our kid likes it. And I think most of the parents I've talked to, they come out and their kids fall in love with it right out of the bat.
They do, exactly. And it's not baseball. You're not sitting on a bench waiting to hit, or you're not standing in the field waiting for the ball to come to you. You're moving all the time. There's up and down the field, there's action all the time, kind of like hockey, up and down the field.
It's really cool. 30alacrosse.com. You can go on the website. You can see their schedule. They've got all kind of events coming up. As Jamie mentioned, of course, we encourage you to take your kids, take your grandkids out there. Let them kind of get a feel for what's going on. Jamie and his team, they're amazing. They're very patient. Will work with your kids. And I think you're onto something big. I think it's really going to take off even more so here in South Walton.
It already is. I'm concerned about the growth at this point.
That's a good thing,
and
Jamie.
It can be a good thing.
It's a good thing. Well, listen, we appreciate it. We want you to come back and give us updates on it. For all of you out there, make sure you're tuning in or going to the website at 30alacrosse.com. 30alacrosse.com. You can reach out to Jamie and he can get you more information and, of course, give you the dates of when to get your kids out there and get them involved. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back, break down this weekend's big college football matchups. You're watching Panhandle Sports Weekly on 30A TV. And welcome back to Panhandle Sports Weekly. I'm Scott McKinney. Thanks for tuning in on 30A TV. Of course, watching us on many of our communication partners like MediaCom, Fairpoint Communications, Roku TV, so many more. Make sure you check out the website at www.30a.tv. And also, you can watch all of our live programming that we offer here on 30A TV all week long on demand by going to the website. You will absolutely love all the great things we have here for you at 30A TV. Well, it is a huge weekend of college football as we begin now moving into the meat of the schedule for most teams as October rolls around. And, of course, now things are starting to shape up of which teams are primed and poised to move forward and possibly move into postseason contention. And we're going to break down some of the games. First game this week, Florida at Missouri. The Gators coming off a big win over Ole Miss in the Swamp last week. The Gators are off to a 5-0 start. Jim McElwain has those Gators playing great football. In spite of some thin numbers, they've been very impressive early on, and Will Greer, their quarterback, is getting more and more comfortable in the offense. They go to a difficult place this weekend, and that's Columbia, Missouri. Why is it so difficult? It's not because there's 100,000 screaming fans, not because of the intimidation factor, but rather because it's only about 45,000 fans. The stadium there seems a little impersonal. A lot of teams struggle when they go to Missouri. It's not the loudest place in the SEC, but we'll see how the Gators handle success. I like Florida to win this week at Missouri. It could be closer than people expect, but I think the Gators will go to 6-0 and keep climbing up those national polls. Georgia at Tennessee. Boy, I tell you, this game used to be one we look forward to every year. Now, well, Tennessee's lost a little bit of its luster, and Georgia's coming off a big loss at home to Alabama. Georgia is going to play with the same intensity this week against Tennessee that Alabama played with against Georgia last week. Why? Because Georgia knows they can ill afford another SEC loss and be in contention for the SEC title. Keep this in mind. Since Philip Fulmer left Tennessee, the Vols are 1-21 against Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. That's not very good numbers against your three biggest rivals. Those numbers will get even worse this weekend as Georgia will go to Knoxville and beat a Tennessee team that's really struggling, a Tennessee team that lost to Arkansas at home last week. A lot of fans are wearing the orange, calling for a change at coaching staff already. Butch Jones goes into the year as one of the more popular coaches they've ever had. Now quickly that is fading. He now has the same exact record after 18 SEC games at Tennessee that Derek Dooley had when he was coaching the Vols, and that's not a pleasant memory for Tennessee. It gets worse this weekend as Georgia walks out of there with a victory. Boy, this next game, South Carolina at LSU, and that's right, at LSU, has been in the news all week. Why? Well, this game was scheduled to be played in Columbia, Missouri. We've seen all the flooding, the heavy rains that have taken place over in Columbia, Missouri. The decision was made to move the game to Baton Rouge Tiger Stadium. Now, South Carolina will get the gate from the game, but there's going to be 102,000 screaming Tiger fans in Baton Rouge, creating a definite home field advantage. South Carolina, under the old head ball coach Steve Spurrier, they're struggling mightily. They lost at Missouri last week. They're trying to find their offense. They're starting a freshman at quarterback, Philip Nunez. They will have a lot of problems getting that offense on track in Tiger Stadium this week. LSU, on the other hand, well, they're led by who I think will win the Heisman Trophy, and that's running back Leonard Fournette. He's already way ahead of anyone else, including Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker, as far as the number of yards after 4 games, and there's a chance he could put up huge numbers this week against a porous South Carolina defense. The floodwaters have been very difficult over in Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm afraid it will be more difficult when they get to Baton Rouge this weekend and meet up with an angry bunch of Tigers who are wanting to make a statement. LSU wins this one big going away. Arkansas and Alabama. These are two power football programs that want to run the football and play power football, block, tackle. That's what it's all about. Arkansas saw their season kind of slipping away, then had a huge win last week at Tennessee. Alabama, same thing. Their season was slipping away. They go over to Georgia and put a big win on the board last week. Unfortunately, this game won't be like last year. If you recall last year up in Fayetteville, Alabama won 14-13 after Arkansas missed an extra point that could have possibly sent the game to overtime. The Arkansas faithful won another shot at Alabama, but this one is in Tuscaloosa. Derrick Henry running the football with power. Jacob Coker becoming more and more comfortable at quarterback for Alabama. The tide rolls in this one in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma and Texas, one of the big rivalry games in college football. They call it the Red River Shootout there, and it's played in Dallas. It's all around the state fair there at the Cotton Bowl and the fairgrounds. This game in the past has brought us some very memorable moments, maybe some of the best moments ever in the history of college football. Unfortunately, it won't be this week. Oklahoma comes in flying under the radar, a very good football team, and Bobby Stoops' team has one goal in sight, and that's to make it to the college football playoff. They'll run into a bunch of Texas football players that have got a lot of bruises and a lot of lumps after the last few weeks. Things are not going well in Texas for Charlie Strong, and things could get worse this week. But keep this in mind, Texas has covered the spread against Oklahoma in 4 of the last 5 games. Could that mean this one is closer than the pundits predict? I don't think so. Oklahoma in a runaway in the Red River Shootout. And of course, the big game we're all looking forward to right up the road from us in Tallahassee, that's the Miami Hurricanes coming to town to take on the Florida State Seminoles. Big question in this game, Florida State running back Dalvin Cook. Does he play with that injured hamstring? And if he does play, how effective is he? If he can't play, Miami's got a great shot of staying close and possibly even pulling the upset. The Florida State offense has not looked very good this year. Still waiting on Everett Golson to get on track. And if they don't have Dalvin Cook as one of their main offensive weapons this Saturday, could be a long night for the Seminoles. Brad Kaya, the quarterback at Miami, has played better week after week after week. Had a setback at Cincinnati last week. They're anxious to make good, and they know that this is a great opportunity to do so against an in-state rivalry. Couple numbers to remember, though. Jimbo Fisher has never lost to Miami, and Al Golden, the head coach of the Hurricanes, he's never defeated Florida State. They're calling for his head in Miami. The plane will be flying, pulling the banner over the stadium saying, "Fire Al Golden." I think they'll have more to talk about after this one. Florida State wins this one in a close one, possibly a wide right missed field goal by Miami, but the Noles will escape with a narrow victory. Well, that's our big games for the weekend. We should have a lot of fun. Of course, I want you to get out and enjoy them. If you're going to the games this weekend, do be careful. Or if you're going out to one of our local establishments here in South Walton or the 30A area to watch the game, have fun, appoint a designated driver, and make sure that we can all talk about the games next week. We'll come back, wrap up the show right after this. It's Panhandle Sports Weekly with me, Scott McKinney, on 30A TV.
Time to roll out the barrel and discover unique suds and ales. The Village of Baytown Wharf presents the 8th Annual Baytown Wharf Beer Fest on October 16th and 17th, 2015. American specialty beers from around the nation will be available for participants to sample and savor. The main event on Saturday, October 17th will feature more than 200 domestic and international craft beers available for sampling. Get your tickets now at BaytownWharfBeerFestival.com.
And welcome back to Panhandle Sports Weekly. I'm Scott McKinney. Thanks for tuning in here on 30A TV. Wow, what a great show we had for you tonight. And of course, let me remind you, if you have a son or a daughter, or perhaps a grandson, a granddaughter, or a young person that you know might be interested in lacrosse, let me encourage you to go to that website at 30alacrosse.com. That's 30alacrosse.com. And find out more information from our friend Jamie Hansen and his team that's putting all of this together. I think those young people will have a wonderful time once you get them out there, once they can experience the thrill and the competitiveness of playing lacrosse and learn a new sport and be outside. Not necessarily be playing video games and sitting in front of a television all day, but get outside and get active. Jamie Hansen and his staff do an amazing job of teaching the game, and your kid, your grandkid is going to have a great time. So log on to 30alacrosse.com. And of course, we made all of our college football picks. Now next week, we've got some more special guests stopping by, some great guests who are going to be talking a lot of college football with us, high school football and more. And let me remind you, if you've got someone who can be a local sports hero, or if you've got a local sporting event that you would like to get brought on the air here at 30A TV and Panhandle Sports Weekly, well, just simply send us a tweet or a text or an email. Let us know, and we will be glad to be in touch with you and get that all lined up, and they can be our guest here on the show to promote your sporting event coming up here in the Florida Panhandle. You know, it's also a great month for fishing. It is the Destin Fishing Rodeo that's going on the entire month of October. So if you're watching us anywhere in the Panhandle or outside the area, come on down and do some fishing this month. It is a perfect weather month to get out. The fish are biting. The reports coming back are fantastic. Some really big fish being caught out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's more than just football, basketball, baseball. You can see there's a lot of things going on. A couple of big paddleboard events coming up this month as well. So we look forward to just hearing from you and seeing what sports information you would like for us to share with you. So enjoy your sports weekend. Make sure you tune back in here next week, where we'll have a lot more to talk about here on Panhandle Sports Weekly with me, Scott McKinney, on 30A TV.